What's up, guys? It's Otter here, and I just want to fill you guys in. I am the sports fanatic on this page, and I will be filling out a March Madness bracket. I have done a lot of these, I will admit, but each one of them has a different mindset, and hopefully one of them wins. Now, I'm going to cut the crap and just get straight into it. I'll explain some of my picks if they're a little, you don't really agree with them, but overall, I think that it's a first round will be pretty common. Uh, Florida beats Albany, easy. Colorado after their injured player. Pittsburgh wins. VCU and Austin. VCU is so fast. They force so many turnovers, but they suck on offense. But I will say VCU beats Austin because they do have an experienced coach. UCLA and Tulsa. Danny Manning's dream team will be no match for UCLA. I'm sorry. All right, so Ohio State and Dayton. I love Aaron Kraft. Huge fan. And I really hope he's a high draft pick this summer. But they will mow over Dayton, even though in the inter-Ohio rivalry. Syracuse, Western Michigan. Syracuse comes out on top. New Mexico and Stanford. New Mexico is currently on unbeatable right now. Stanford is also pretty good. They have a bit of a rivalry, but New Mexico comes out on top. Kansas, Eastern Kentucky, no question, Kansas wins, even without Embiid. Florida and Pittsburgh, another no question, Florida wins. Now, VCU and UCLA. VCU is fast, but UCLA will slow them down, and they will score a lot. VCU has trouble scoring, so they will not be able to stop them, nor compete with them scoring offensively. UCLA comes out on top. Ohio State and Syracuse. All right, so we got Ohio State, whom has a very dominant point guard. Not saying Syracuse doesn't, but Ohio State has, I believe, a better point guard. But they have no one else. So Syracuse comes out on top in that game. New Mexico and Kansas. This is a toss-up because it solely relies on Embiid, I believe. Embiid being arguably one of the best centers in basketball right now. A very high draft pick, most likely. Out with a back injury. So if he's back in time, no doubt about it, Kansas wins. If he's not, it's a toss-up, but I still think Kansas will come out on top. Florida, UCLA. The Gators are just, they're too good. They're too good right now. UCLA won't be able to compete with them. They're not all overall sound as Florida is. Syracuse and Kansas. Syracuse and Kansas have some issues. Kansas usually struggles against Syracuse. But this year with Syracuse being so undependable or unreliable, I gotta say Kansas, especially with Embiid, Kansas wins. All right, and adding the first team to the Final Four. I'm going to have to go with the number one overall Florida Gators. Will come out on top of the game with a very tight and very high-scoring game, I believe. All right. We'll go to the East Division. Virginia will defeat Coastal Carolina, no doubt about it. Memphis and George Washington. Now, I don't know why, but people believe George Washington will beat Memphis. I haven't looked at the odds, but I think it's like 35 to 65% that Memphis wins. But still, given George Washington that high, no. Memphis comes out on top of that, too experienced. Cincinnati and Harvard, great game, great rivalry. Cincinnati's better than Harvard, simple as that. Michigan State comes out on top easy. North Carolina, probably the top three teams in this tournament who you do not know what to expect with. Dominant players. With McAdoo and their point guard, forget his name, but their point guard's very good. Carolina comes out on top. Iowa State, NC Central, Iowa State, easy. Now, UConn and St. Joe. This is another game that bothers me, that people actually think St. Joe can win this game. UConn is just, I think they're a dark horse. They have a chance to go far, but they will get past St. Joe's. Now, Villanova, Milwaukee. Nova. Now, Virginia, Memphis. Memphis is a very fast team, just like VCU. But Virginia will slow them down and knock out Memphis. Cincinnati, Michigan State. Again, healthy Michigan State is a very good team. Cincinnati will lose that game. North Carolina, Iowa State. North Carolina is a real, it's like an all-or-nothing team. Iowa State, however, has proven to be very good. So, Iowa State. Now, UConn and Nova. This is a toss-up for me. I actually think, though, with the leadership of Shabazz Napier, whom is just like Kemba Walker, will lead them past Villanova. So that will be a rather large upset. So Virginia versus Michigan State, you can call this an upset. It's really not, because Michigan State's honestly a better team. Michigan State wins. Okay, Iowa State and Connecticut. This is where I believe that UConn will lose to a fundamentally sound Iowa State. So here we are, adding the second team to the Final Four. It's the Elite Eight. Iowa State is a very good team, but healthy Michigan's better. All right, now head up to the West region. Arizona will win that game. I like this game. Gonzaga versus Oklahoma State. Oklahoma State having Marcus Smart back. I think Oklahoma State will win. They're on a hot streak right now, somewhat. Not as hot as a lot of other teams, but they're on the ups. Now, Oklahoma, North Dakota State. I know you guys have heard this. For those of you who pay attention, you've heard this on ESPN. North Dakota State is very good at offense and very good at taking shots. They will beat Oklahoma for, my third or fourth upset so far. San Diego State, New Mexico State. New Mexico State this will be a great game. San Diego State is very good. Now, New Mexico State isn't as good. However, they have a great front court. They also have an incredibly tall center, 7'5", I believe. So he's the difference maker. If he can get rebounds against San Diego State, yeah, I can see it happening. But I will say San Diego State wins this game. Baylor versus Nebraska. I think this is a mismatch, honestly. Baylor wins this game pretty handily. Creighton versus Lafayette. Creighton. Oregon, BYU. BYU just isn't that good. When I saw this, I originally thought back to when they had a Jimmer for that, but Oregon wins that game. Wisconsin, American. This is a huge mismatch. Wisconsin wins. Arizona, Oklahoma State. This is going to be a good game. Now, the question really is, can Oklahoma State's star point guard, Marcus Smart, lead them past Arizona? The answer is no. Arizona wins that game. Now we come to North Dakota State and San Diego State. I like North Dakota State, and they could have definitely beat Oklahoma, when I believe they will, but they will lose to San Diego State. Baylor and Creighton, this is a great game because Creighton has unarguably the best offensive player in basketball right now. I mean, Doug McDermott is a stud. So, when I can't figure out which team is the better, I start to think about where they're playing, all those factors. Then I realize that, holy shit, they have the best offensive player in the nation. Creighton wins that game. Let's make it easy here. Wisconsin, Oregon. Wisconsin, very offensive up-tempo team against an Oregon team who's very fast, but not as good offensively. Wisconsin wins this game, and it's going to be a high-scoring game. Oh, wrong button. A high-scoring game. Arizona, San Diego State, a rematch. San Diego State, yeah, they can come out on top, but Arizona will win again. I strongly believe. Even without one of their good players, their starters, they will still win. So now we got Creighton, Wisconsin. It's basically a full team of offense versus a one-man show. Full team will always be one man. I have Arizona versus Wisconsin. I think that a lot of people overthink this game. But I'm going to say Wisconsin wins because they don't have to worry about injuries. Arizona has been plagued a little bit with injuries. Having one right now, they're already down. They can get past Weber easily and Oklahoma State. San Diego's going to be really rough for them. They have no chance getting past Wisconsin. So Wisconsin is the third team to advance to the Final Four. Midwest bracket, we have the Wichita State team. Unbeatable. Until the tournament, but they will win their first round. Kentucky and Kansas State. All right. It's going to be a great game. And I did make another bracket where I thought of some possible upsets, but the odds are just too against me for me to put this down in one of my official brackets. But I believe Kentucky will beat Kansas State. This will be a very good game to watch. But Kentucky just has talent that Kansas State does not. So we have the Billikens and NC State. Offense versus defense. Defense wins. So St. Louis comes out on top. Louisville and Manhattan. Let's not even talk about it. We know who's going to win that game. Then we have UMass, versus, I believe this is the winner of Iowa versus Tennessee. At this time, we don't have a winner. I think Tennessee will win this game, and Tennessee will, again, beat UMass. Tennessee is a very big team, very strong team. Tennessee wins. Duke and Mercer, another mismatch. Duke comes out on top. Texas and Arizona State. One of these teams I really like because it's almost like a miracle story. Underdog. Arizona State wins. Seeding-wise, it's an upset, but it's really not when you think about it. And Michigan will beat Wofford easy. So Wichita State versus Kentucky. This is a good game. Now, the question is, which team is stronger? That's what I'm thinking. A lot of teams try and drive the lane. I gotta say Wichita State wins that battle, though. Like a battle of the trenches. Now, St. Louis and Louisville. This is another mismatch. Louisville comes out on top. So now we have what I predict to be Tennessee against Duke. Duke is a shooting team. They're not big on rebounds or stuff like that. They don't do well in second chance points either. Tennessee, on the other hand, does. This is going to be a good game, a very possible upset. I think Jabari will lead them past and advance Duke to the Sweet 16. Arizona State and Michigan. I love my Sun Devils, but Michigan will come out on top of that. All right, so Wichita State versus Louisville. This is where Wichita's season comes to an end. They will lose to Louisville. So now we have Duke versus Michigan. 3-point shooting teams. And this is I think Michigan will win against Duke. I don't have a reason for it. It's really 50-50, but I got to go with Michigan. So now we have the final game to lead to the Final Four. Louisville against Michigan. I can picture Michigan throwing up threes everywhere, and I can picture Louisville throwing up threes. What I do remember, though, was last year Louisville had a bad three-point percentage coming into the tournament. Yet they made a lot of threes. Not because they relied on them, but because they were open. So I say Louisville wins this game. And what you could call a three-point showdown, with Michigan missing a lot of threes and Louisville picking up the scraps. So now we have our Final Four. Florida from the south, Michigan State from the east, Wisconsin from the west, and Louisville from the Midwest. Florida versus Michigan State. I believe that if all of Michigan State's players are healthy, they can win this game. But Florida they just don't have it. Oh, that's odd. All right, so now we have Wisconsin versus Louisville. I think that Louisville is just a better overall team. It'll be a tight game. I don't think it'll be a very high-scoring game, honestly, but Louisville comes out on top. And kind of shocked about that, but I think that there's an upset here. I think Louisville will win this game to win 2 championships in a row. I don't know why that popped up, but that was kind of cool. Anyway, so this is my bracket, guys. Leave your comments below. That's fine. By the time this video is seen by many people, the tournament will most likely be over. And we'll see if I was close. And hopefully I can tell you guys how I got it perfect. Anyways, have a good one and enjoy the tournament. Thank you.